Okay, I'm back to the document again. And just an introduction to what the document's structured. Again, the document, I think in its final form would be about 3,000 pages long. It's a rewrite of Webster Wells's Advanced Course in Algebra. The document is being made available to the Prison Mathematics Project. And what does that mean? The mentors, the organizers, and the participants, and they're going to use the document to learn algebra. All right. So what I'm going to claim over here is that, the last video I told you, I gave just an overview of the document. I just want to briefly talk about, there's something over here which I believe, would seem so foreign to someone like Wells. It would almost seem like witchcraft. But a lot has happened since 1904. And some of the big developments in mathematics that happened is the use of computers to do mathematics. Now, back in Wells' days, everything was done by hand. But they had computers, but the computers were not digital. The computers in Wells's era, let's go back to the 1900s, like 1904, were actually human. Humans were actually called computers. There were people with special talent that could do certain things, like multiply really large numbers, multiply, arbitrary polynomials, take roots of polynomials. They were just especially good at it. What I'm going to claim over here is, though, that sort of class of employed people is gone now. The reason being we have digital computers. So what I want to do is I want to just go to materials for exercise 1, and I want to click on related Sage code and do it over there. So this is in section 1. And again, this is something that you may want to think about doing. More importantly, I'm going to say you should really think about what Wells is doing and then think about how this adds to what Wells does. And it adds a lot. It does. It allows people to do things that it could not have done in the past. And again, a lot of mathematics nowadays is being done on computers. All right. Including my documents. LaTeX is a computer. All right. This can also be done at sagemath.org, by the way, the LaTeX. But anyway, if you click on this link over here, let me briefly go through that with you. A website's going to open up. And in that website, again, I'm not trying to scare you with this. There's a download. You could download the application. Let me click on that. And certainly I'm in North America. The closest place to me is MIT. I could click on that. And then you decide what operating system you're using. Like I'm using OS 10. So I would click on this. And then I would say Intel or PowerPC. Let's not worry so much about that. All right. So, if you click on this, I noticed you say something over here about the OS 10 release. I could click on this one over here and just look at that. That's the GitHub resource. Let me do that for you. And a lot of reading, isn't there? But you read through it and you can download the application if you want. Right, I'm going to go back to that Sage site. For some students, downloading the software is going to be a tremendously big step. So what I'm going to suggest instead is CoCalc Instant Sage Worksheet. And when you do that, they're asking me for my password, username. I already created an account. I have it. There's a problem with this, though. And why there's a problem is, you're using somebody else's computer now to do a computation. And they might be quite slow in letting you do a computation. But they'll let you do it. Eventually, a thing will open up and allow you to do something. So, for example, I could type in 1 + 1. Now, if I hit return, nothing will happen. So let me back up. And I'll point out, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit the shift key and the return at the same time. And what am I expecting to see? The number 2. Right now, there's a little green thing over here. They're waiting for a computer now to serve me. And the serve, if it happens, by the way, if they allow it, some computer out there in, the cloud, so to speak, is now waiting for me to give it a command. And the command is really simple, 1 + 1. Do you see how long I'm waiting for this? That's crazy. There it goes. Some computer somewhere in the universe said, you know what? I'm willing to do that computation. And they just did it. So what I want to do is, I don't want to do this. I want to go to my computer to do it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you on my computer that I have the Sage application open. Now, some people look at this and say, it's very disturbing. What is this thing? I hope you can, at least when you're reading it, you see the Sage prompt over there. All right, I'm going to type in 1 + 1, hit the return button. It gives me 2. Now, what I want to do is type these commands in. Let's reset. I've just done that. And someone says, what do they want next? Well, let me type it in. A, B, X, Y. Now, again, this is tough for a student. I know that. Why am I doing that? I'll tell you why you're doing that. You're defining variables, a variable A, a variable B, a variable X, a variable Y. And so I'm going to just type what they have. And they have quotes, A. And again, I want to warn you, if you make a mistake, it's not going to blow up. So A, B, X, right? I'm just typing it in, and Y. And you're going to make mistakes. I got that done. Now, someone could say, I get really tired of typing. I do too. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy. I just copied that. I'm going to go over here and paste it in now. And what do I get? I get 7A plus 7B minus 8X plus 8Y. This has something to do with the exercises or the examples that are given to you in section 1 of the notes. All right. Now, I'm not saying you're there yet, but we'll get there. All right. Now, what's the next one? I want to point out copy paste doesn't always work. I'm going to copy this and I want to show you it doesn't work. And this might scare you when you do it first. You notice it's got this problem over here. It says there's syntax error, invalid syntax. I want to point out to you, though, that's pointing what the error is. The error is in the quote symbol. Now, someone says, why would that be? Well, the problem with LaTeX is when it does this, it actually puts in a nice looking quote symbol. But these are not nice looking quote symbols up here. I hope you noticed that. So I got to type that in by hand. And that's going to happen to you when you do copy paste. By the way, not just with Sage, with just about any programming language, right? Programming language are very picky about how things should be written down. And I hope you're aware of that. So MN, whoops, sorry about that. Return. Did a pretty good job over there. And again, most things you can copy paste pretty simply. Let me copy paste this. Let me go back to my terminal, paste it in, hit the return button, not shift return, just return. And what do you get? Minus 12n, minus 12n. All right. So it's just a basic overview of Sage. Don't get overwhelmed. Like you're saying, I couldn't do that for anything. Don't do it. All right. Maybe later, maybe a month from now, a year from now, you'll start to say, maybe I should start learning how to use a computer to do that. I will say this, though, it does require, if you're going to go to the sagemath.org, access to the internet. And if you're going to install the application, you would have to be able to install an application on your computer. And not every computer can install applications. Sometimes you'll have to, either be running like Windows or Macintosh or Linux or Unix, a computer that can actually install software. And, certainly I will say you can do it on a Chromebook, but it's far more difficult to do installing software on a Chromebook. All right. But again, if you can't install software, you can still do the web-based interactive application. What's the problem with that? Let me click on that again for you. The problem is them serving it to you. And I got to be honest with you, it is a problem for computers serving things. They may not want to serve you. All right. And the reason that there's a finite amount of resources out there, they just may not want to serve you the resource. All right. Let me just open that up again. I did that before, remember? Let me type something else in. Let me type in 4, whoops, sorry about that. 4 times 6. And let's see what happens. Remember, shift return when you're doing the interactive web-based Sage. Wow, it's much faster now, right? What happened there? I guess the machine was waiting for it. All right. And you could give it more difficult stuff. And you could even go back to what I was doing before and copy paste, those commands I was given before. All right. So let me just see what I meant by that. I'll take this over here. I'll paste that in. Let's see what happens. Whoops. I hit return. Nothing happened, right? Let me hit shift return. And it says an error again. So you could go up here. And what's nice about this, you could edit this. I'm just going right back up here to the line. And I'm editing. What am I doing? I'm correcting those quote marks. Again, that may seem horribly confusing to you. Not all quote marks are equal. Sorry about that. Not all quote marks are equal. Whoops, I did it again. You just want to hit the return, nothing happens. Just a return happens, shift return. That worked out beautifully. Let me go back, copy paste. I'll copy paste this. I don't learn by copy pasting. I've actually typed those commands in before. But I'm just pointing out you can do that if you want. shift return. Again, at one point I've hit the return button, nothing happens. Let me go backwards, the shift key and then the return, and it's going to do it. And it's not bad. It's going pretty quickly. But again, I got to repeat this over and over again. You may think this is going quickly. At some point, they're going to stop serving you. All right. Now, when they stop serving you, they might start saying, so if you paid a little bit of money, we would be willing to serve you better. And that's true. If you pay them money, they may be willing to serve you better. But here's the deal. If you can install software on your computer, please install software on your computer. There's one thing I want to mention to you is this, that I created a book. Let me go there. And the book I created is called about math, but the website is sagemathography.org. All right, I'll hit the return. And this is a website that I've designed. And if you want, you can click on this thing over here. This is a guidebook. Again, do not be overwhelmed by what I'm talking about. Hit the guidebook. And what happens? The guidebook opens. All right. So let me just put this on the side here for you. So, you might say, gee, I got a free book here for you. It's true. You got a free book. Books are great to have if you read them. But again, you have to read it. All right. Not being read to you. You have to read it. Don't be overwhelmed, though. I know a lot of stuff has been said. Don't be overwhelmed. The only thing we really did, and I'll go back to the document, is we talked about embedded within these notes. Each section is a conversation, at least I hope a conversation for you about coding using the Sage application. And the Sage application is a good application. As the semester goes on, I may reference other programs that you may be interested in, but I do believe Sage would be a good starting point for learning how to use a computer algebra system. And I really mean it's the best of all. It's free, but more importantly, it is used all over the world. It's that important. Okay. Thanks for paying attention. And again, we'll soon start the process of going through the notes. And the notes we go through is we'll do section 1, section 2, section 3. The videos that we'll present to you is not me reading the notes to you, but me pretending that you read the notes and that you need help with the examples. And it would be me walking you through the examples. Thank you for your attention.